Hello again, folks. Welcome back. Thank you for coming. Dave here. We are mixing it up a little bit this week. The plan was actually, I'm not sure really. Are we late for last week or early for this week? We'll say we're early for this week. And last week was our one week vacation we get. Um, I was supposed to do the Bible, but it turns out that's a pretty big topic. And I didn't quite get all my ducks in a row on that one, so that'll have to wait for another time. I felt the wind blowing me today, and if you know me, you know I'm usually around when there's some wind gusting. Excuse me. But no, I'm going with it. I'm feeling like we're going to do a little bit of music today, which means I'm not even just going to I'm not even going to mainly talk about it. I'm going to try to play some music for you guys today. So you might want to adjust the volume of your speakers accordingly, or even turn them off, to be honest. But to each their own. But I'm gonna look at some songs that have had meaning to me over the course of my life as a Christian, my church life, however you want to word that. And this is not going to be full of theory on musical worship, and it's going to be a bit of a break from what I've been doing, and I'm just kind of going with my gut and my heart on this one, and we'll see where it goes. I got maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 songs to play, something like that. So it might be a shorter podcast, but that's fine, right? Once you hear a song, you'll probably be glad that it isn't longer. Okay. First of all, I think music is very important in life. This is not news. Most of us, not all of us. I've met some people who don't like music at all. I think they're all in prison now. But most of us love music, and music can take us to a place that other things don't. And it's, to me, one of the best things about going to church was music. That you get to come into a building with a bunch of other people, and they play music, and you get to sing songs together as a group. It's like a big sing-along, except you don't have to be 8 years old at camp anymore. It's fantastic. And music is a part of, for my Christian life, it's part of everything we did. If we went on a trip, there was music. If we were at church on a Sunday, there was music. If we were at youth group on a Wednesday, there was music. I mean, music was just this kind of common thread to it. And I think there's a lot of beautiful songs that I learned and picked up on and that meant something to me over the years, and I wanted to share a couple of them with you today. If you have been going to church a long time, you probably know some of these. Maybe you don't. I encourage you to check out the actual song, not my version of it, to see why it's really good. But, we're going to kind of take you through a few of my favorites today. All right? Okay, the first one that we're going to try here is this is a song that I heard on a musical worship album, early 2000s. So it was pretty early in my time as a Christian, and it was, I would say the whole album really affected me. It was, I believe, a Canadian band called Capstone, and they had like a live worship album. And I don't think it got really big ever anywhere, but I don't know how I got a hold of it. And some friends of mine had a hold of it, and we just loved it. Every song on it was so good. And it was this kind of cool vibe. It almost sounded like they recorded it inside like a family room of a house. And it was just like a group of sort of young adults. And I was, I don't know, 24, 23, somewhere in that range. So it sounded like I was with my friends, and they just recorded like people singing songs and laughing and messing around and having fun. There was a real kind of live, fun, playful kind of vibe to it. And it was really cool. It had like cool kind of bongo drums and the guitar, and the guy's a really good singer. And yeah, just really cool album. If you ever get to check it out, Capstone is the name of the band. I don't know if it's available anywhere, but I think some of the stuff was actually on iTunes, at least for a while. Maybe it still is. Anyways, this song is called "You Are My Rock," and it reminds me of that album and that time in my life too. It was, I was a volunteer at the youth group, just kind of new to that. A lot of the youth heard this song and picked up on it, and we would kind of sing it, and it was kind of a bit of an anthem, I guess, for us for a little while, anyways. And yeah, I think of different youth back in the day whenever I hear it, and it makes me smile. You're my rock. Hopefully I don't mess it up too bad. Lord, let your rain fall down. You are my rock. You are my rock. Wash away the sand and the clay. You are my rock. You are my rock. When I fall, need something stable. You are my rock. You are my rock. I fall on my knees and lay down at your table. You are my rock. You are my rock. When I fall, yeah, you pick me up. When I'm down on my knees, yeah, you pick me up and bring me back where you're my rock. Lord, let your rain fall down. You are my rock. You are my rock, oh Lord. Wash away sand and the clay. You are my rock. You're my rock. You're my rock. When I fall, I need something stable. You are my rock. You are my rock. Fall on my knees and lay down at your table. You are my rock. You are my rock. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. He's a big guy. He's a big guy. He's a big God. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's a big God. He's a big God. All right, that's about the level we're going to have today. So, let's just bring our standards down, okay? Very cool song. The idea of, God being this rock, Scripture talks about that, this bedrock we can build a house on. To me, in music form, it just comes across a little stronger. I get it. That lyric of, Lord, whatever comes, you're my rock, you're my rock. It's a cool declaration. It's not always a statement of what I think and what was fascinating to me and true for me, I'd say, is sometimes you would sing a song like that, and it was a statement of fact that was true. You're saying, yeah, I feel that. I feel that bedrock under me, and I'm good, and I'm singing this from a place of thank you, God, that you're there, and I, right? But then sometimes you sing a song like that, and this is probably common for a lot of worship songs. And you're actually not coming from that place. You're coming from a place of, I'm just free falling. I don't feel any rock under me. And that's probably a little more how I am these days in terms of this stuff. But all of a sudden, that song, instead of being like a statement of where I think I am, it's more of a hope. Do you know what I mean? You're declaring a hope that you have, that you're my rock, right? Yeah. Okay. Next song is actually from the same album. So I don't know who wrote that last song, You're My Rock. But it's a more contemporary, it's got like kind of a groove to it, a little vibe to it, if you actually listen to the real recording of it. This one is an interpretation of a hymn. And when I went to church, our church sang old hymns, and we sang stuff with drums and guitars and stuff, and we kind of mixed it up. It was pretty cool. Um, so here's Capstone's version of If Ever I Loved Thee. My Jesus, I love thee. I know thou art mine. For thee all the follies of sin I resign. My gracious Redeemer, my Savior art thou. If ever I love thee, my Jesus, 'tis now. I love thee because thou hast first loved me and purchased my pardon on Calvary's tree. I love thee for wearing the thorns on thy brow. If ever I love thee, my Jesus, 'tis now. I'll love thee in life, I will love thee in death, and praise thee as long as thou lendest me breath, and say when the death dew lies cold on my brow, if ever I love thee, my Jesus, 'tis now. In mansions of glory and endless delight, I'll ever adore thee in heaven so bright. I'll sing with the glittering crown on my brow. If ever I love thee, my Jesus, 'tis now. One thing that was really cool about that album for me also was that it introduced me to some hymns. And I thought that was neat. A lot of Christian bands would do that, kind of modernize, up tempo, but still take these great old lyrics from these old hymns. And a lot of young folks like me would know that version of the song, go to church on a Sunday, realize, oh my goodness, we're singing the hymn of this today. This is where it comes from, and I got some experience with it. I got some groove with it already. You know what I mean? I can rock with it. It's good. Anyways, Capstone, check them out. Okay. Next up, I should have written this down. Next up is that. Oh yes. Okay. So, one of my good friends in my life was the youth leader at the time. Before I became the youth leader, I was a volunteer under him first. And this is a song always makes me think of road trips with my friend, because we had like this album that had a mixture of different Christian worship songs on it. This is one of them. I actually don't even know what band sings this song. It might be Jars of Clay. I think they were a big Christian band at the time. Maybe they still are. I don't know. But this song is called This Road. And the chorus says, "This road that we travel, may it be the straight and narrow. God give us peace and grace from you." And I've done a lot of road trips as a young man with this song playing. And it makes me think of driving in the car, windows down, a nice summer day and kind of groove. Maybe the sun's going down as we're just finally arriving at our destination, and this song coming on. This Road. No idea who's it by. All heavy laden, acquainted with sorrow, may Christ in our marrow carry us home. From alabaster come blessings of laughter, fragrance of passion, joy from the truth. Grant the unbroken, tears ever flowing from hearts of contrition, only for you. May sin never hold true, that love never broke through, for God's mercy holds us, and we are His own. This road that we travel, may it be the straight and narrow. God give us peace and grace from you all the day through. Shelter with fire, our voices we raise still higher. God give us peace and grace from you all the day through. Okay, yeah, This Road. Such a, man, love the lyrics in that one. All heavy laden, acquainted with sorrow, may Christ in our marrow carry us home. Whew. Come on. From alabaster come blessings of laughter, fragrance of passion, joy from the truth. That alabaster reference, similar to the Jars of Clay name of the band, again, I'm not sure if this is from them or not, but there's a passage in Scripture, right? It talks about us being these jars of clay, us human vessels. We're these jars, and we can be filled up with water, and but we're cracked and we're leaking. And I love the kind of tie-in to the reference and imagery in the Bible there. It's pretty cool. Grant the unbroken, tears ever flowing from hearts of contrition only for you. May sin never hold true, that love never broke through. For God's mercy holds us, we are His own. It's pretty powerful lyrics, you know. You know, what do I actually believe anymore? It's a struggle, but I love the beauty of that line. May sin never hold true, that love never broke through. You know, that's Christian ideology saying, look, God loves, and His love has broken through the darkness of the world, and the darkness wants to convince you that it didn't. But may the darkness never hold true, that lie that love never broke through, right? For God's mercy holds us, we are His own. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. Next up. All right, let's do this one. This one I always struggle with. This one's called How Deep the Father's Love. I heard this song. I was sitting beside a very good friend of mine, and if he's listening to this, he's going to remember this moment. We were up at camp somewhere, I think, a youth retreat or a young adult retreat maybe, and we heard somebody sing this song, and we were looked at each other and we were like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best song we've ever heard." It was kind of a moment, but it's a really pretty song, and it's called "How Deep the Father's Love." It's about the love of God. It kind of tells in 3 verses kind of the story of Jesus, and it's a song that has seen me through some tough times. I've mentioned some tough times earlier in the podcast, stuff I've been through, difficult situations I've been in. I'm not going to rehash it, but sometimes in life, when words and philosophies and ideas fail us, we can be left with music, a tune. There's something raw and just a cry of your heart about music sometimes. And this song, among others, has been that for me at times in my life. And I think it has some pretty cool lyrics in it, too. Anyways, check it out. I'll probably mess it up now. How deep the Father's love for us, how vast beyond all measure, that He should give His only Son to make a wretch His treasure. How great the pain of searing loss, the Father turned His face away, as wounds which mar the chosen one bring many sons to glory. Behold the man upon a cross, my sin upon His shoulder. Ashamed I hear my mocking voice call out among the scars. It was my sin that held Him there until it was accomplished. His dying breath has brought me life. I know that it is finished. I will not boast in anything, no gifts, no power, no wisdom, but I will boast in Jesus Christ, His death and resurrection. Why should I gain from His reward? I cannot give an answer, but this I know with all my heart. His wounds have paid my ransom. Why should I gain from His reward? I cannot give an answer, but this I know with all my heart. His wounds have paid my ransom. Sorry, I got a little emotional there. Please, Dave, relax. Yeah. How deep the Father's love for us, how vast beyond all measure, that He should give His only Son to make a wretch His treasure. How great the pain of searing loss, the Father turned His face away. We talked about that earlier in the podcast, this idea that Jesus on the cross actually felt forsaken by God, which doesn't make any sense because He is God, but just go with it. But this lyric talks about that, right? The Father turns his face away as wounds which mar the chosen one bring many sons to glory. Behold the man upon a cross, my sin upon his shoulders. Sometimes it can get very personal, you know? Sometimes the story of Jesus it's so like out there. Something else that happened thousands of years ago. It was the sin of the world, blah, blah, blah. Interesting lyric here. It talks about, no. It's the stuff that I've done that he was carrying. That's pretty crazy to do, right? To think of that way. I hear my own mocking voice call out among the scoffers. It was my sin that held him there until it was accomplished. His dying breath has brought me life. I know that it is finished. Of course, that's a reference to Jesus' words, right? It is finished. I will not boast in anything, no gifts, no power, no wisdom, but I will boast in Jesus Christ, his death and resurrection. Why should I gain from his reward? I cannot give an answer. But this I know with all my heart, his wounds have paid my ransom. Again, powerful stuff, emotional stuff, kind of sad but kind of joyful together. This is right down my alley, the song I've always loved. And just kind of remembering some stuff we've already talked about too, though. It's as long as we focus on this part of the story, I do great. I love this. I love the Jesus part of the story. I think it's great. It's fantastic. It hits me everywhere good. But again, there's the setup that I have some trouble with. But beautiful song. Okay. Man, we're flying through these. We're doing good. Okay. I think I have two more. All right. So, something that my church did for many years was sponsored our youth group to go down to the Dominican Republic every other year and do, I mean, it was called a missions trip. When I think of missions trip, I don't know what that word means to you guys, but to me, that word means you go somewhere and you preach the gospel and you try to get non-Christians to convert to become Christians, and that's the thrust and the gist of the trip. This wasn't really that. Was the hope that people would come get closer to Jesus by us taking the trip? Sure, it was. But the main gist and thrust of the trip was to go and serve in a poorer country, to go and pitch in and give money and do some work and bring resources to an under-resourced neighborhood. And we kept going back to the same neighborhood, this same kind of school that was set up in this town. Los Alcarrizos, I think, was the name of the town. And it was cool for our youth because over the years, people would keep going back. Then as young adults, they would come back or maybe be leaders in the youth group and come back. And they got to see this community that we kind of partnered with, you know. And, hey, we built that house 4 years ago, and there's somebody living in it. Hey, we built those sidewalks, and people are using them and walking on them, and it's better drainage and whatever. There was this sense of partnership and community and accomplishment that came with that. It was pretty cool. I think I only did the trip once. We also did, when I was there 1 year that we were going to do that trip. Instead, we did a trip to a service trip to a reserve on Manitoulin Island called Wikwemikong. I always get the name wrong. I think it's something like that. And we ran like a day camp for native kids up there. That was very cool, by the way. I'll have to get into that at some point on the podcast too. What a fascinating week of my life that was, to see a reserve firsthand like that and the conditions and so on. Really interesting. But I'm so grateful to my church that I got to be a part of those things. You know, I've poured cement in Los Alcarrizos. When would I get a chance to do that, or when would I even think to do that if I wasn't going to church? Do you know what I mean? Pretty cool. Anyways, this song is a song that to me always will capture that that trip to Dominican Republic. It was a song that we sung a lot on the trip, before the trip, after the trip. It became a favorite of my kids. It was the song my daughter and I would sing when I was putting her to bed when she was just a little tiny little thing, and she'd always ask for it. And this is my first day of seeing the chords for it, so we'll hopefully kind of get through it here. But it's called 10,000 Reasons. All right, here we go. The sun comes up, it's a new day dawning. It's time to sing your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be singing when the evening comes. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship his holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I worship your holy name. You're rich in love and you're slow to anger. Your name is great and your heart is kind. For all your goodness I will keep on singing. 10,000 reasons for my heart to find. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship his holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I'll worship your holy name. And on that day when my strength is failing, the end draws near and my time has come, still my soul will sing your praise unending. 10,000 years and then forevermore. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship his holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I'll worship your holy name. I'll worship your holy name. That song makes me think of the trip, but it also makes me think of my daughter. What a frickin' cutie pie she is. Very cool. That song kind of takes you through a day. You know, the sun comes up is the first verse, right? Then it talks about like kind of getting through it. You're this, you're rich in love, you're great. And then on that day with my strength is failing, kind of the when the sun is setting. And we would sing that song in the morning, and we'd sing the song at lunchtime, and we'd sing the song in the evening in the DR, and it just felt right, you know. But it's also about that cycle of life, you know. You're great when I'm born. You're great when I'm going through this crazy roller coaster of life, the ups and downs, the lefts and rights, and when it's all over, you're still great. It's a very cool sentiment, and I think pretty awesome lyrics. Okay, I think we're getting to our last song, guys. This song is by a guy named John Foreman, who is the lead, or I don't know if they still are around, was lead singer of a band called Switchfoot, a Christian band, kind of a more rock band, I would say. But I think he's great, and I saw him, I went to a conference down in the States, and he sang some songs, and it was like him kind of venturing out. He did some solo stuff on his own, kind of acoustic-y stuff. And this was one of the songs. And it was funny because I remembered it's Psalm, was it 24? I can't remember. It's, you know, like, God is my shepherd, I shall not want, you know, leading me beside green pastures, that one. through the valley of the shadow of death. I should have looked that up first. I used to know that off by heart. Well, that's pretty bad. But I remember this psalm because my brother and I, when we were kids, played a Sierra game called Gold Rush. We loved like King's Quest and Heroes Quest and Space Quest and all that stuff back in the day. And we played Gold Rush, and this Bible passage was on the gravestone of our brother in the game, and it was part of a puzzle. We had to figure out where he was. He wasn't actually dead, and there was clues on the gravestone to figure out where he actually was and still alive. And wouldn't you know it, he'd struck gold. Anyways, so it was pretty cool to. Then I'm like, oh, that's where that's from. All right, the Bible. Anyways, I think John Foreman is excellent. You should check him out. He also did a few songs with. He partnered with another band called. I forget what they're called now. I was about to say Nickelback, but it's not Nickelback. And they did a compilation, kind of like, you know how Eddie Vedder, Pearl Jam and Soundgarden were like Temple of the Dog for a while. This guy and those guys were Fiction Family for a while. So if you look up Fiction Family, that's him as well. God is my shepherd, won't be wanting, won't be wanting. He makes me rest in fields of green with quiet stream. Even though I walk through the valley of death and dying, I will not fear, 'cause you are with me, you are with me. Your shepherd's staff comforts me. You are my feast in the presence of enemies. Surely goodness will follow me, follow me. House of God forever. House of God forever. It's called House of God Forever, by the way. God is my shepherd, won't be wanting, won't be wanting. He makes me rest in fields of green, a quiet stream. Even though I'm walking through the valley of death and dying, I will not fear. You are with me. That staff comforts me. You are my feast in the presence of enemies. Surely goodness will follow me, follow me. In the house of God forever. 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 Yeah, it's cool. Like that song, like that whole vibe. There's something. Sometimes Christian ideology, philosophy, doctrine can come across very strong and black and white, set in stone. This is that our way is right. You must accept it. It can come across a bit that way to outsiders. And sometimes Christians, even that's how they present it on purpose. There's something about a song that is honest and vulnerable and small that to me has always made Christian theology much more beautiful, much more acceptable. It's where I want to be. It's humble. It's not pretentious. It's not a bold statement of, yeah. It's not a hammer. It's a sweet sound. Attractive, and maybe you don't. That's fine. But it's just an expression and of a feeling, of a sense, of an idea that to me is framed in the kind of way that I would want to frame it and the kind of way that I can groove with. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today. I know it's a bit probably weird, but I appreciate you being along for the ride. All these songs and so many more have meant a lot to me over the years, and it was fun sharing with you. I hope that you have a great week. I hope that you play some good music this week. I hope you play some music that moves you, some music that inspires you, maybe some music that reminds you of a time in your life where things were simpler or maybe better in some ways or whatever. You just want to remember, being 16 or whatever. Maybe you just want to play something this week that'll make you dance in your kitchen. Maybe you want to play something this week that'll bring you to that sad place that you need to maybe go to and experience a little bit so you can kind of come up out of it, Sometimes music invites us down into the depths somewhere and helps us deal with some stuff that we've been pushing off, And hopefully by the end of the song or the end of the night, you've kind of processed some of those feelings and you come up out of it. Whatever it is for you, I hope you enjoy it, and we'll catch you guys next time. Later.